There is a conversation happening at every used car dealership in Australia, and almost nobody is having it correctly. The buyer walks in, asks about the RAV4, gets told there is a 3-month wait and a price that has quietly climbed $5,000 since last year, and then drives home in something they half wanted because they did not know what else to ask for. And for senior drivers, that conversation carries real consequences. Because when you are buying a car later in life, you are not looking for a status symbol on the driveway. You are looking for something that starts every morning, fits comfortably around your body, does not terrify you with a touchscreen that requires a university degree, and does not send you a devastating repair bill when you can least afford it. You are buying peace of mind. And the Australian used car market, right now, is full of vehicles that deliver exactly that, at prices that will make you question everything you thought you knew about this segment. In 2025, more than 60% of every new vehicle sold in Australia was an SUV. 733,000 units in a single year. And yet, the models that best serve senior drivers, the ones with the simplest drivetrains, the easiest cabins, the strongest reliability data, are the ones sitting quietly on forecourts across the country, priced under $25,000, being walked past every single day. 8 dirt cheap SUVs nobody buys in Australia. But for senior drivers, they might be the smartest vehicles on the road. And number 1 is going to completely change how you see this market. Starting at number 8, the Mitsubishi ASX, first generation. This is one of those cars that gets dismissed before it is even considered, usually by people who have never driven one and are simply responding to the badge. The ASX does not carry the cachet of a European nameplate or the familiarity of a Japanese rival with 30 years of marketing behind it. What it does carry is a 2-liter, naturally aspirated petrol engine that is about as mechanically uncomplicated as anything in this segment. No turbocharger to eventually replace. No dual-clutch gearbox hunting for the right gear at low speeds. A conventional CVT paired to front-wheel drive, and a cabin that Mitsubishi deliberately designed with accessibility in mind. For senior drivers, that last point is not a small thing. The ASX sits at a seat height that lets most people slide in and out without lowering themselves into a bucket or hauling themselves up into a truck. The doors open wide, the controls are straightforward. And used examples from 2019 and 2020. Well-spec'd, low-kilometre cars are available on car sales right now from around $20,000. At that price, with that simplicity, the ASX earns its place on this list. But the cars above it make an even stronger argument. Number 7, the Skoda Karoq. This is the entry that is going to surprise people who have spent years being told that European cars are expensive to run. The Karoq is built on Volkswagen Group's MQB platform, the same bones that underpin the Golf, the Tiguan, and the Audi Q3. But because it wears a Skoda badge instead of a VW or Audi badge, it sells for significantly less new, and it depreciates to genuinely remarkable prices on the used market. A 2019 or 2020 Karoq with the 110 TSI specification, the 1.5-liter turbocharged version, represents one of the most well-engineered small SUVs available under $22,000 in Australia right now. The interior quality is a genuine step above what you would expect at this price. The seats are supportive for long drives. The cabin is quiet. And Skoda's local dealer network, while not as large as Toyota's, has grown substantially over the past decade. Service costs are in line with the broader VW Group average, and parts availability has improved enormously. For a senior driver who wants European build quality without the European price tag, the Karoq is the answer most people have never thought to look for. And the car at number 6 takes a completely different approach, built not for prestige, but purely for endurance. Number 6, the Isuzu MUX. If longevity is your primary measurement, and for many senior drivers on a fixed income, it absolutely should be, then the MUX enters this conversation with a stronger argument than almost anything else on this list. Isuzu built its reputation over decades, supplying diesel engines to commercial operators across Australia, mining, agriculture, long-haul freight. The 3-liter turbo diesel engine at the heart of the MUX is a direct descendant of that lineage. There are documented Australian examples of this engine exceeding 300,000 kilometres with nothing beyond scheduled servicing. Use 2019 and 2020 MUX examples with 7 seats and 4-wheel drive capability are available from the mid-20s. For senior drivers who live outside the city, who need genuine all-weather and all-terrain confidence, or who simply want a vehicle that they will never have to replace, the MUX makes a case that is very difficult to argue with. The cabin is functional, rather than luxurious, honest materials. Clear controls. Nothing that will confuse or frustrate. And that 6-speed automatic gearbox is smooth, predictable, and proven across hundreds of thousands of working kilometres in the Australian market. The one consideration is the physical size. The MUX is a substantial vehicle, and for drivers who do most of their motoring in tight urban environments, something smaller may serve better, which is exactly where number 5 comes in. Number 5, the Renault Koleos, 2nd generation. Here is a piece of information that the used car market has almost entirely failed to communicate. The 2nd generation Koleos, launched in Australia in 2016, is not just a Renault. Under the skin, it shares its platform, its 2.5-litre naturally aspirated petrol engine, and its Xtronic CVT, with the Nissan X-Trail built through the Renault-Nissan Alliance and engineered to identical mechanical standards. The engine that powers it has been in production across multiple Nissan and Renault models for years. It is simple, chain-driven, widely serviced, and has earned a strong reputation for long-term reliability in Australian conditions. What the Koleos adds on top of that shared engineering is a cabin that feels genuinely premium. The seats are among the most comfortable in this price bracket. Renault has always prioritized seat quality, and the Koleos benefits from that focus in a meaningful way for drivers spending hours behind the wheel. The suspension is tuned for comfort rather than sportiness. The steering is light and direct. Used 2018 and 2019 examples are available from around $17,000 to $20,000, and for a senior driver doing mostly highway and suburban motoring, very little in this price range matches the Koleos for ride quality and ease of use. But if the Koleos surprises you at number 5, the next car on this list is going to do something different entirely. Number 4, the Holden Equinox. Yes, Holden. Stay with this, because the numbers make the case better than the badge ever could. The Equinox was launched in Australia in 2017, and it was built on GM's global D2XX platform, the same architecture used across multiple Chevrolet and Holden variants sold in dozens of markets worldwide. Part supply has not dried up since Holden's exit from Australia. The 1.5-litre and 2-litre turbocharged petrol engines are shared with global GM products, meaning availability through independent mechanics and online suppliers is strong and getting stronger. More importantly, for senior drivers, the Equinox was engineered with genuine comfort as a priority. The ride is absorbent. Road and wind noise are well suppressed. The cabin is spacious, with a seating position that is easy to enter and exit, and visibility that is unusually good for a vehicle of this size. Use 2019 and 2020 examples in the LTZ specification, fully loaded with every safety and comfort feature Holden offered, are available for under $22,000. For that price, you are buying a 5-star ANCAP-rated SUV with lane keep assist, autonomous emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, and a rear cross-traffic alert system. That level of passive and active safety technology, at that price, is almost impossible to match elsewhere in the used market right now. Holden's exit from Australia created a buying opportunity that has not closed. And for senior drivers who want modern safety technology without a modern price tag, the Equinox deserves far more attention than it receives. But the top 3 on this list are each making arguments that go even further than that. Number 3, the Toyota Kluger, 4th generation. This might be the most overlooked Toyota in the Australian used market, which, given how dominant the Toyota brand is here, is a remarkable thing to say. While buyers compete aggressively over Prados and RAV4s, the Kluger sits at prices that would have seemed impossible 3 years ago. A 2021 or 2022 Kluger GXL, 7 seats, all-wheel drive, with around 120,000 kilometers, can be found from the low 40s. That is a fully loaded, three-row family SUV with Toyota's reliability reputation and Australia's largest dealer network behind it, for the price of a mid-range Korean hatchback. The 3.5-liter V6 petrol engine, paired to an 8-speed automatic, is one of the smoothest and most proven drivetrains Toyota has ever fitted to a passenger vehicle. No turbochargers. No complex hybrid systems in the non-hybrid variants. Just a naturally aspirated V6 that has been proven in Australian conditions across hundreds of thousands of cars. The cabin is wide, the doors open generously, and the elevated seating position gives senior drivers the kind of road visibility that makes every journey feel more confident and less fatiguing. For seniors who regularly carry grandchildren, who travel long distances for family visits, or who simply want the reassurance of Toyota's dealer network in every major regional center across Australia, the Kluger at this price is almost without parallel. And yet the two cars above it make arguments that are somehow even harder to dismiss. Number 2, the Volkswagen Tiguan, first generation, sold in Australia from 2008 to 2016. This is the entry that is going to generate the most debate, and the numbers are the reason it belongs here. The first generation Tiguan has now depreciated to the point where well-maintained 2014 and 2015 examples with a full dealer service history are available from $12,000 to $16,000. For that price, you are buying a vehicle with genuine German structural integrity, the body rigidity, the door shut quality, the materials, the noise suppression at a price point where most competing SUVs are delivering far less. The key for senior buyers is specification. The 2-liter TSI petrol with the 7-speed wet clutch DSG gearbox from well-documented examples with clean service histories. Avoid the early Tiptronic torque converter automatics found on very early pre-facelift models, and avoid any example without a clear paper trail. Buy the service history, not just the car. When those conditions are met, the first-generation Tiguan is among the most rewarding used SUVs available under $15,000 in Australia. The driving experience is composed and confidence-inspiring in a way that genuinely reduces fatigue on longer runs. And at this price, if a repair does arise, the cost is contained within reason. For senior drivers who have spent decades dismissing European cars as too expensive to maintain, a well-chosen first-gen Tiguan will quietly challenge that assumption. But number 1 on this list is the car that challenges every assumption in this market, and the data behind it is going to surprise you. Number 1, the Ssangyong Rexton, second generation. Before you move on, stay with this for 30 seconds, because what this vehicle offers at its current used car pricing is genuinely extraordinary. Ssangyong, now trading as KGM, built the Rexton on a body-on-frame platform, the same fundamental architecture used in the genuine off-road Toyota Prado. It is not a unibody crossover pretending to be tough. It is a proper, engineered for endurance four-wheel drive SUV. The 2.2-liter turbocharged diesel engine fitted to Australian specification Rextons is Ssangyong's own unit, runs a timing chain, and has demonstrated genuine longevity in long-distance Australian conditions. Use 2018, 2019, and 2020 examples, with 7 seats, a full-size spare wheel under the boot floor, and Ssangyong's 7-year unlimited kilometer warranty, in many cases still active, are available from the low to mid-20s. For senior drivers, the Rexton's practical advantages are substantial. The seating position is commanding without being difficult to access. The 7-seat configuration handles extended family without compromise, and the warranty situation, 7 years unlimited kilometers, means that buyers within the coverage window have a financial safety net that most cars at this price cannot come close to matching. The market has undervalued the Rexton because of the badge, and because Ssangyong's Australian marketing budget was never going to match Toyota's. But the engineering underneath does not care about marketing budgets. And at the price these cars are trading for right now, the gap between what you are paying and what you are actually getting is wider than anywhere else on this list. 8 SUVs. 8 vehicles that the Australian market has largely overlooked in favor of familiar names and familiar logos. But for senior drivers, the calculus has always been different. Reliability over reputation. Comfort over cachet. Peace of mind over prestige. The smartest buy is not always the most popular one. Sometimes it is the one sitting quietly on the forecourt, waiting for a buyer who knows exactly what they are looking at. And now, that buyer is you.